Hi everybody, Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So I am going to do a pyramid, a giant pyramid with this. So this is a mold that is inside a hard case, so it keeps its shape properly. I'm doing it with jesmonite. So I have 1 kilo or 1,000 grams of jesmonite powder and 400 grams of jesmonite liquid. So first things is we have to mix that up. So I've got my container here. I use this so I can actually bend it and give a little bit of a spout to pour out of. The hardest part is trying to, when you mix up a large batch like this, is trying to get it as even as possible. I've got a whisk, but I don't have the jesmonite mixer because the place that I get my jesmonite from has run out. So I just have to use what tools I have for the moment. So I've wiped out any dust or any residue in this with just a alcohol wipe, disinfectant wipe. So it dries really quickly. You just wipe it out so there's no marks or anything in there. So now we just get started. So first we pour in, I don't know how much you can see, so I'm going to try and hold it up. First we pour in our jesmonite liquid into our container. Want to get all of that out, don't want to waste any. Plus anything left over will change your weight mixture. And now this cup I'm going to put in the sink and fill with water just so it doesn't get hard. Then, Then I have my jesmonite powder. So I've got my little helper I'm directing to the sink. And I've got my jesmonite powder. So you can pour it in batches, but I actually find it's best if I just pour the lot in and then mix it. I get little bits of clumps either way. It's pretty even. I don't get tons of clumps and they're not overly big, but you do get some. Okay, so that's the powder out of there. Now get mixing straight away. So this is part where it starts spilling and I make slops every single time. So yes, it's not the easiest. I probably should try and use a little kitchen mixer, I think. I'm sure I've got an old kitchen mixer I can get out. Okay. Now it's incorporating. Just keep going. Oops, there's some. Now you can be a little bit vigorous with it. So I'm just going to make sure by scraping the bottom quite firmly and the sides that I've got it all in there. Okay, now I'm just going to set this whisk aside on my mat. Then use this and just make sure that I haven't got any stuck to the sides. Don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, there was a bit left over at the bottom. I felt it then. So use this, scrape all your sides, scrape the bottom. You got to work quickly, but at the same time, you want it actually mixed properly. Otherwise, it's not much point, is there? So there's that. Get my whisk back out. Just going to scrape this off. I don't want to waste any. Okay, put that over there. Now, give it another really good whisk. Now, when I do these big pyramids, my biggest issue I have found so far has been getting, when I pour it in, because it's quite a deep, it becomes like a bit of a dirty pour, like you do with acrylic pouring, and all the colours blend. So we don't want that to happen. But first of all, I'm just going to dip a blunted skewer. So you just get a skewer and just blunt that tip, and just get this and put it right down into that point. Just give it a little bit of a spin. Just make sure there's no bubbles in that tip. So I'm going to put in a few drops of black. So I'm going to do 2 to 3 drops in 3 different places. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You don't need very much of this. All I'm using here is I'm actually using the Brambiler brand, because the other colours I couldn't get hold of at the time. Get my skewer again, run it through, and just, that's about enough. So what I have done to try to get the paint on the jesmonite down the bottom without it becoming blurry and a dirty pour is I have got some poly pipe that I have cut. I've cut it to a decent size, and I've cut like a little ends off so I can actually get to it. So this is a test, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to bend. This is actually the challenging part because it's got a bit of weight to it. Might have to do it this way. I want to point, so I'm going to hold this there so it comes out right down in the center. And now I'm going to pour into my pipe. Got to concentrate a lot when you do this, because you've got to watch what both of your hands are doing at the same time. You want to try and keep your pipe in the center, and you want to make sure that you're pouring actually into the pipe, so then you're not spilling it. So, bit of coordination, but it's actually looking like it's doing exactly what I wanted. I tried this yesterday with a thick silicone straw, and it didn't work. The straw was too thin, it started spilling everywhere, and just became a real big mess. So I'm hoping that this is going to do exactly what I want. So really all we're doing is just using the pipe as like a funnel. So then the paint, the jesmonite is going to the base, so it's not, oops. We just don't want the jesmonite to become a dirty pour. So that's that. Now I'm going to get my scraper back. So I'm going to make a mess. Everything's tipping over. And I'm just going to scrape out what's left. I don't like wasting anything. So the more jesmonite I can get out of this container, the better. Sorry if I'm blocking a lot of your view. Just want to make sure I'm getting it all out. And there we go. Now that looks like it's doing exactly what I wanted. So I don't want to tap this too much. I'm going to give it a little bit of a tap to bring some bubbles to the surface, but I don't want to over tap it because it can sometimes blur the image. Now I'm just going to blow the surface with my mouth just to get rid of these bubbles. Another little tap. I'm not overly banging it, I'm just tapping it slightly. I'll probably have the 1 or 2 bubbles in this, but that's fine. I'd rather 1 or 2 bubbles in a distorted image. And as you can see, this pyramid mold still isn't completely full. So I am just going to get my tools and put them in the sink and fill them with water. Thank you. Sorry, just sending my little helper off to go do that for me. So for the next couple of minutes, I'll just come along and blow the bottom of the mold, or the top, this end, just to get rid of any of the bubbles that have surfaced. Awesome. So when I have done this, so let me grab one that I have made previously. So this is one that I made previously where I just poured it in and it ended up being like a dirty pour, but all the colour, the black and the white mixed together as they went in, it kind of gave you this blurred look, which I actually don't mind, but that's not the effect I'm going for this time. So that is pretty cool, I like it. But the actual effect I'm going for is these type of lines. So when I do the big molds, they come out slightly less defined than when I do a small mold. The small molds are really sharp, really intense colors, and the only thing I can put that down to is just virtually the paint, how far the jesmonite has to go until it hits the bottom. So this time I'd used the poly pipe, hoping that that would change that effect for me. So we all have to just practice and do different things. But I love this, but I'm hoping something a lot more sharper. So that's why I've done this. And that's the silicone straw I used. But as you can see, pouring it into that little spout while trying to get at the bottom, it just became, it poured all over the place, made a big mess. So it still turned out, I still have a pyramid, but it's just not what I was, not really what I was planning for. So came a little bit out of shape in certain spots. So now, let me just blow this again. Not every bubble will pop when you blow it. Doesn't matter, it's going to be the bottom. So all as we have to do now is just let this settle, and it will become what it becomes. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes before I can demold it. It will be extremely hot, but you're better off to demold it earlier than later. Once it's firm enough that it's not going to go out of shape to demold it, then demold it, because otherwise it can sweat in this, the heat, and this silicone mold kind of makes some moisture inside, and it can leave a little bit of marks on it. So usually I wait 20 to 30 minutes and then I will come back and demold this. And looking from the sides already, I am pretty happy with what I'm going to get. So this is it, a jesmonite pyramid mold, which should give me this type of straight pour. Like if you do acrylic pouring and you do a straight pour, you kind of get these like lines and feathering. We should really get that type of look with this. So it's just a waiting game now. We'll come back in about 20 to 30 minutes, demold it and show you what it looks like, and I am pretty sure I'm going to be quite happy. So jesmonite is actually really cool. I do recommend getting it if you have fun with like resin and things, especially if you want something that's going to be quick to unmold. But we'll be back soon, so I'm just going to pause it. Okay, bye. Okay everybody, we're back. I think it's been about 25 minutes. I actually didn't time. I just come along and I can see it's gone matte, so it's dried. And then I push my finger and I slightly touch it. It was fine. And then I give a little bit more firmer and there's no movement whatsoever. So now it's warm, very warm. When I take these out of the mold, sometimes there's steam come off it, and sometimes it can be hot enough to kind of burn my hand if I leave it in one spot for too long. So first of all, we take off the hard coating, put that aside, and then because this is quite flexible, we just get this and I just peel it up. Yep, see the steam? Don't know if you guys can see that, but there's steam coming off this for sure. So this is quite good. I'm just turning my mold back in the right way and placing it back into its hard case. So this is it. Awesome. It is definitely, sorry, it's burning the bottom of my hand, so I've got to keep fidgeting it. So it's definitely got some strong lines. I think with the bigger mold, maybe because of the more heat reaction that you get with the larger pieces, so the smaller pieces don't get anywhere near this hot. I wonder whether that is what gives it a little bit of a blurriness about it. But because as you can see, some lines are really defined at the beginning, but then they are starting to blur as they get, oh, that's hot, as they get down this way. And even you get a couple of these little streaks, that's from where an air bubble is trying to come to the surface and passes through the colours, the black. So it gives you that mark. Oh. This side here has got a lot more well-defined lines, especially in this top part. And then it blurs out a little bit as you get down. But this is pretty cool. This side here is quite different. You've got that pattern at the top, but then it kind of hasn't got a lot of main lines. It's kind of just got colours. But this has got some greys in it, some definite blacks, the white. And then we go to the fourth side. And again, we've got streaks. So each time I do this, I'm learning more and more. But see, one thing I have got, I've got a really well-defined point. Now that is exactly what you want in the pyramid. I've got a couple of pyramids which have an air bubble at the top there, and it really distracts you from the whole thing. So you just got to make sure that you do get that quite well. But with these, so I'm going to sit down on the table. If I had this on a table, then you'd see it from all four sides. So you would pick a side that you want to be the more dominant side, which is seen more frequently by people. But if you were to put this on a ledge or a mantle, a bookcase, or anywhere where it's just going to be seen from mostly one side and partly the others, then you pick the side that you really want it to be at. The warmth that is coming off this is really, really extraordinary. Really, really quite hot. But again, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and your artwork is completed. So I'm really, really pleased with this. Each time I do these, I do get slightly different reactions and results. So that's the fun part about it. They're never all going to be the same. Not sure if there's much I can do to get that sharpness all the way through it. I got to keep practicing, but I don't mind it how it blurs out. But here's the small one. You can really see that the defined patterns are more solid in the little one compared to the big one. It just seems to get that, as it gets lower, it blurs out a little bit. But even then, really pleased. And to also let you know, this is not completely white. That white is natural jesmonite colour. I haven't coloured it white. If you wanted to, I haven't got white pigment. They ran out of that too. There was quite a lot of pigments at the moment. Everyone's gone. There was a short supply of jesmonite, so I think everyone's gone and brought all the colours, and it's taken a while for them to get back in stock. So I haven't coloured the white. I've just left it natural jesmonite. But if you compare that to like a white packet, see how there is a bit of a difference? So you could actually colour the jesmonite white and then do the black colouring to give you the lines, and you'll get more defined black and white colours. But I love this. This is really cool. I have to let this air out. So what I do is, because I actually want the bottom to get air too, I'm not going to put it down on a hard flat surface. I am going to put it on my mold, just off-centered like that. That way the air can get to all of it. It's already like getting... When you first unmold it, I try not to touch the sides for about a minute, just to let the air get to it. But so smooth. It's really unbelievable how smooth and beautiful this stuff is. I'm going to climb up on my ladder and get close to the camera so I can give you a real good close-up here. I don't know. Let me see if I can focus it. There we go. So as you can see, really, really good point. Really nice patterned. Each side has its own little pattern. I got a feeling that one of those two, oh sorry, it's getting hot. I think this side might be one of my favorites, or that one there. That one, sorry, I keep going out of camera angle because I can't see the camera and my work at the same time. But yeah, really, really pleased. And there is a couple of air bubbles. If I run my finger down that edge, no, one there. One at the very bottom and one near the top. You can't really see them, you can just feel them sometimes. And there's a couple of tiny little ones like here. If you guys can see that, there's a couple of little ones just here. That's absolutely fine. This is homemade art. This is not factory art. So there, jesmonite pyramid, looking nice and awesome. So don't drop this on the floor. If you drop it from a height, it will break. They are strong, but it can't handle being dropped onto the floor. So keep that in mind. I've broken a couple of coasters by dropping them, or it was my own fault. I was not paying enough attention. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. So really, ultimately, I would love to hear what you guys think of both the end result and the method using the pipe to try to get this down, the jesmonite down without it blurring. So let me know in the comments, and like, comment, share and subscribe if you have not already. And yeah, have fun with jesmonite. I do acrylic pouring, I do jesmonite. I do lots of arts and crafts just for fun, but really pleased with how this is going, and it's really fun to make. I make this, and in an hour really from starting to prepare and mix up all the stuff to the end result, unmolding it and looking at it, it's completely done. So awesome. So have a good night everybody, and we will see you soon for another pour. Catch you later. Okay, so here we are outside in the sunlight with the pyramid. So as you can see, the ripples have come out pretty good. Not all four sides are the same. This side here that's coming around now is probably a little bit more different, less ripples, but kind of cool effects. So I'm rotating this on my hand. Then you got the fourth side.
but it looks really cool. So I'm out in the garden, there's bees and hoverflies everywhere. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I think that's come out really good, as you can see, all the way from the top to the bottom. Let me focus, there we go. So here is our pyramid. So I hope you guys like this. Let me know what you think. Comment, like, share and subscribe. And yeah, tell me whether there's anything else that you've done or anything I can do that you think will be different. Alright, I'll have a great day and I'll see you soon for another art video. Okay, bye.